name is Indy and today I am here with a book review because I feel like I haven't done one in quite a while and it's probably true. And today we're going to be discussing Confess by Colleen Hoover. I think this is the first book that I'm reviewing of hers. Anyway, I recently read this in Booktubeathon and I really enjoyed this book. I want to fix what's going on here because you can see shit all. Unfortunately, I have to have this weird sort of lighting because white balance and this book doesn't just want to work. I'm also trying to compliment this book today. I don't know if it's working. I'm discussing this book today. This is my fifth book? Because I read Ugly Love first, which I'm sure I talked about at some point in time. Slammed, Point of Retreat, Maybe Someday, and now we've read Confess. So I own most of her books because they're amazing. They're like the only contemporaries I read because they're just so heartbreakingly amazing. And they're not just like super depressing. And they're really romancy and I love it. Anyway, I'm going to be discussing this today. I'm going to do some non-spoileries and then some spoilery details for you lovely people that have read the book. So basically this is a new adult novel as most of her books are, which I love because now that I'm older than a teenager, I really love reading new adults because usually the characters are, you know, 20, 21 up to like the age of like 24 and stuff. So I like really identify with that even more. But this one follows a 21 or 20 turning 21-year-old girl named Auburn Reed who's just moved to Dallas, Texas from Portland, trying to get her life sorted out because there's so many things that are crazily happening. And then she gets a job at an art studio who she is employed by this lovely man named Owen. Things happen from there. I don't want to say too much because I went into this like completely blind, knowing that basically there was a boy and a girl and that's kind of it. Jesus Christ, like all Colleen Hoover books, shit gets cray in the most crazy way. I hate saying stuff like that, like, you know, crazy things happen because I don't want people to get an expectation, but like always in her books there's always some massive like thing you don't see coming or like some massive horrible thing that happens, but then it all resolves beautifully and there's just so much romance and I just love all her books. Just the way she writes them and the way she sets them up and everything about them are just always stunning and I can't. I don't love contemporaries usually, but these books are just so good. People always like to sort of ask like where should you start with her books. I started on Ugly Love, which is probably the most new adult of all the new adults, but you know, Slammed is always a great one. I think that's quite young adulty. This one was also really good. Maybe someday, I don't know, it depends on really what sort of stage you're at. If you read young adult, new adult, or both, it's completely up to you which one you want to choose. But also with the title of this book, it is all about confessions. I'm gonna tell you some details even though they're non-spoilery details, but like it's just so beautiful. I gotta talk about it just in case you non-spoiler people haven't read it yet. The use of the title of Confess is that Owen, who is the artist that employs Auburn, he basically paints paintings from confessions that people leave at his door. So it's just, the idea, I love the concept so much I can't even explain to you. It's so good. I gave this book like 5 out of 5 stars, I'm pretty sure. I put it in my favorites and my top favorites on Goodreads because it's so freaking good. But that's where I'm leaving it for the non-spoileries for now. So if you haven't read it, go and read it because it's such a good book. But go and read it and come back and we shall discuss the book together. Yes! Alright, bye non-spoileries. Bye! Okay, Confess. Such a great short book. Oh my god, so much went down. I couldn't even believe it. There was so much romance in the beginning. Like, it just all happened so fast that they were just like, I wouldn't say fell in love with each other, but not. But it just all happened so fast. And I was like, okay, shit has to get cray because this always happens in Colleen's books. And we find out that Owen is going to jail for possession of drugs, which I knew wasn't his, like straight up. I was like, unless he gets a bit recreational when he does his paintings because they're so heartbreaking. I don't think so. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be his dad. Although the story of him killing his mom and his sister in a car crash when he was 16 was like terrifying. I was like, oh my god, I could have done that to my family so many times. It's really terrifying when I think about it. Also, what the fuck? I did not see that Auburn was gonna have a child. Like, I knew something was like a little going on. I was wondering when it was gonna come back to the fact that she was in some legal thing at the beginning, but I also kind of forgot about it. She kept talking about a tent and stuff. I was like, is she talking about Trey and stuff? And then we found out that she has a child. I was like, and it's Adam's child, and she had it when she was like 16. I was like, what? I did not see that shit coming, and it was so good. It was so good. So good. So intense. And I was like, whoa, man. So she has like a 4 or 5-year-old. And I didn't understand who Lydia was for so long. And then I was like, wait, it's her mother-in-law, Adam's mom, and like Trey's brother. Like it like took me a while to like figure out who she was. I was like, who is this random lady like looking after her son? So basically we are trying to get back her son this whole time. And then like we love Owen, but then Trey, the possessive bastard, I did not like him at all. And especially when we got the story at the end by Owen about 5 years earlier when Adam was dying, how he was like, heh, and he's hugging Orphan. I was like, near. But no, the whole like half rape scene type of shit was so scary. He was such a bastard and like so horrible, being like, you will obey what I say if you want your son. I'm just like, I hate it. So horrible. I really liked her roommate. Is it Emery? Emery? I have no idea. If I had to pick a favorite line, it would be anything that came out of her mouth, because she was just so like, just who cares? She just said whatever she was feeling. Like she had no boundaries. So basically we're in this whirlwind romance with Owen. We are just loving life until the whole possession problem. But they just got along so well. Just so realistic in the best way. Like the best parts of life, but also hard parts of life. But I just liked how the whole painting concept was just so utterly beautiful. I just couldn't even with the idea that he paints them. And we even got like a little snippet in the book, which I'm sure you also have as well, like some of the paintings and things, which is not kind of what I expected, but like they were just so heartbreaking. Like sometimes I wonder if being dead would be easier than being a mum. I just want to cry. But basically I loved any time they were together. The romance was so good, even though it was so hard to deal with. So I'm so happy we got AJ back at the end, but I didn't like that there wasn't really a resolution. There wasn't like an end chapter. They're not sort of an epilogue or anything. We sort of just like, AJ's at her house living there now, like by Lydia, because we blackmailed the hell out of Trey, thank God. He was such a psycho, that guy, like just like destroying stuff, breaking in. Anyway, we're getting over the Trey bashing, but that was kind of it. And then we go to the 5 years early where we learn about Adam's death and Trey already liking Orban, and how Owen knows Orban. Oh my god, that drove me insane the whole book. I was like, how do you know her? And like even in the last chapter or something or other, he was like, oh, I don't want to say how I know her because that's Adam's story to tell. And I was like, no. I was like,